We're live on YouTube. This is the Rich Lieberman Bay Area Media Pulse, and I'm a little late today. Sorry, trying to get things accomplished and done and figured out. And I know many of you have a certain time when you watch me because I usually come on a little earlier. That is not the case today, but okay, enough about that. I'm here because, as all of you know who watch me, who have previously read me, that I'm very critical of KCBS. Not because I want to be critical of KCBS, it's because they make it very easy. And whether it's their reporters, whether it's their anchors, whether it's whomever, midday people, um, they have really sunk to the level of complete incompetence, complete embarrassment. And when I make charges and when I rip people, I do it on the basis of what they do, or in some cases, what they don't do, how they act. Of course, it's a lot of it is a matter of taste, but I'm very, very open about it. I don't, let lack off lack off of my opinion based on gender, based on color. If you suck, if you're incompetent, if you're lousy, I don't care what you look like. I don't care the color of your skin or your gender. I rip based upon what I perceive as good, bad. Very oftentimes doesn't matter, again, whether you're a woman, a guy, what have you. So I want to talk about the afternoon drive. And it's so embarrassing now. They have these people on who've been there forever. Patti Reising, longtime KCBS anchor. She's overrated. She doesn't belong in the anchor chair anymore. She's awful. And then we have the retread that I've called out many a times, made fun of. He's there because a former KCBS executive who used to run KGO, a guy by the name of Jack Swanson, did a favor for this guy and put him on the air. And that's Brett Burkhart, who used to broadcast at KGO many years ago. And he was awful there. They kept him aboard because he was a body. He was a body. They needed a body. He had a name amongst people. I don't know who or why he had a name, because he's awful. And I've said as much for years now, but I haven't been specific as to why. And these folks that they have on, I'll give them this. They're better than what they have in the morning, but that's not saying much. That's like saying a rotten kumquat is better than a 2-week-old rotten kumquat. Okay? I hate to be sharp, but I'm being truthful. My opinion, obviously. But most people I know agree with me. Even if they didn't agree with me, I'm still going to state what is the obvious. Many of people have told me they agree with me, and a lot of these people used to work at KCBS. Patti Reising is average at best. She's overrated. And when I say that, she's got the pedigree of being accepted by the various people who work still in broadcasting in the city. And can she be competent? Yes. Can she be adequate? Yes, which is why she's there. And she'll be hanging up any day now because she's at a point where they don't want to pay her anymore. She's not very good anymore. And when you're not that good anymore and you're making pretty decent money by today's standards, that's when they start saying, hey, time to leave, basically. She'll be leaving anytime soon now when she gets in her necessary time service there at Odyssey KCBS. And I say she's average at best. First off, and this is for both of them, these people start at 3 o'clock, actually 2 o'clock, and work till 7. Afternoon drive. And the only reason why most people listen to KCBS at that time of the day is if they're commuting, if they need some traffic tips, they don't have a traffic app, and they want to know if the Bay Bridge is clear, 280, 101. That's all they listen to KCBS. They certainly don't listen to KCBS for news because KCBS long ago did away with news. They're more interested now in putting on commercials, which have become almost an assault. The only good thing about all the commercials that they run is the fact that it takes you away from actually listening to the very little amount of news that they actually broadcast on KCBS. So we have Reising, who is awful. At best, average. She can't ad lib. She can't interview. And when she does interview, I'm told this by very, very good sources there. If she doesn't like the way somebody sounds on the interviews when they do interviews at KCBS, she'll tell the editor, those are the folks behind the scenes who allegedly are editors, but are more than likely checking their Facebook accounts because, again, news is a virtue at KCBS, even in the afternoon, the so-called legit zone, even though it's not legit. But if Rising doesn't like the way a person comes off, she'll get rid of them. How's that? She'll get rid of the interviewee on the various interviews that they do. And most of these are god awful too. But she can't ad lib. Burkhart is a total waste of time. He's there because Jack Swanson, who used to be a vice president of news, big time guy, did a favor for Brett Burkhart, who used to work at KGO years ago. And now he's there to fill a void and doesn't do anything. And it's a complete waste of time. Harsh? So be it. I don't pull any punches. Burkhart is an average guy who's in love with his voice, who says, wow, many a times, and comes across as a dimwit that he is. He gets away with it because they need bodies at Odyssey KCBS. He gets away with it because he's considered royalty compared to the other little breadcrumbs that they have at KCBS. They've hired a few new people, but that's just to fill a void that's been there forever. You'll notice, folks, that most of the good people long ago vacated KCBS, whether they retired, whether they were told to retire, whether they just took off out of necessity, were ready to collect retirement, or whatever constitutes a parachute at cash deprived Odyssey Intercom. They decided to leave. Some had the good intention of acknowledging the fact that KCBS long ago went into the abyss, is no longer anything even remotely near what it once used to be. A legacy news station that had great reporters, even their mediocre reporters and anchors were 10, 20 times better than what they have today. It's become so revolting, so disgusting, so ridiculous, so embarrassing, in fact, that this is what you get at KCBS on a daily basis. You get whack-a-mole anchors. Some of them appear out of nowhere. Some of them are on a particular time slot. And when they pop up somewhere else, which happens routinely, it's become part of the schedule. A lot of that has to do with the fact that the people who run KCBS, the alleged news director, who doesn't know what the hell she's doing, gets rewarded because she managed to placate certain people there. And a new guy they brought in, who I guess the best thing he's done is he allows one of their traffic reporters, during drive time a place to chill out while they look for an apartment or somewhere. And they got this guy from New York who likes to talk like this, so I made fun of. Yeah, look, the guy's competent. I'll give him that. He's nothing special. But back to the afternoon. We got Burkhart, a waste of time. Patti Reising, overrated. It's the same old thing. It's tired. It's formulaic. We have to hear about the traffic when there's no traffic. And again, that's sponsored, so I'll give them that. The weather. What kind of weather have we had, folks, in the last month almost? Right? Sunny, cold, no rain. Yet we hear variations of what they try to do to make it appear as if there's actual weather when there's no weather. This is the same radio station, by the way, that manufactured and hyped about a month ago a non-story, a tsunami warning, which never amounted to anything other than that because of an earthquake that took place way up north that was broadcast over KCBS air as if a national calamity was taking place. Hysterical anchors, not Reising in this case, or Burkhart, but a bunch of amateurs that got inside people laughing at KCBS because, excuse me one sec, they were hyping a story that never existed. There was no tsunami. There were warnings, but they made it sound as if there was. Therefore, you had crazy stories. You had people inside the KCBS newsroom that were lampooning and satirizing their own company because nobody at KCBS can lead. Nobody. Consequently, you have incompetent people, overrated people, like in this case, the afternoon duo of Patti Reising and Brett Burkhart. They're both lousy. They both can't ad lib if their life depended on it. They're both ill advised when it comes to just routine interviewing. Oh, they're manageable. That's supposed to be a virtue at KCBS, but this has been taking place now. And again, Reising any day now will be gone. She'll either take a buyout, she'll retire. Burkhart, he's just there. Wow. So he can collect a check every couple of weeks before he too is called out and said goodbye, or he'll retire. That kind of a thing. But meanwhile, the afternoon is chock full of embarrassment and despair and incompetence. Other than that, it's quite fine and dandy. But please, they should have been called out long time ago. Yet everybody's afraid because one of the players here happens to be a woman. And the other guy, there's a guy who's a veteran news person who managed to survive because he was able to kiss up and curry favor with execs, both at KGO when it was an actual radio station and now KCBS, and is only hanging on because they need bodies. And I guess they figure he's got somewhat of Bay Area lineage. Yeah, right. I'm Rich Lieberman. Thank you for watching. And please tell everybody you know, even your enemies, your doctor, your lawyer, your plumber, anybody, that you watch me on YouTube. And please become a member, a subscriber to my YouTube channel so you can watch and see me talk about Bay Area media and beyond every day.